Hi, this is Stephen Rothberg. I am the founder and chief visionary officer of College Recruiter and the co-host of the Inside Job Boards and Recruitment Marketplaces podcast. Welcome to episode 41. We have a very special episode today. For regular viewers, you'll notice that the look and feel is quite different. That's because we had too many guests for our standard software, the Restream software. So we're using Zoom, and then we're going to upload. My co-host is Peter Zollman of the AIM Group. Peter, take it away.
Well, good afternoon or good morning or good evening, wherever you are. We have people from all over the world. We provide business intelligence for recruitment marketplaces at the AIM Group, and we're doing something a little different today. We're doing a rapid fire round robin. We've got 16 people from all over the world. Europe, Asia, and the US. They're going to give us 2 to 3 sentences about an issue they see in talent acquisition, and then 2 to 3 sentences of potential solutions. Simple, short, sweet. We've asked them to keep it to 30 seconds. If they go over a minute, we're going to just cut them off so they don't run out. We don't run out of time and stiff the last few guests. Therefore, it's rapid fire. Let's go, starting with Alex Fourlis of Veritone, the AI guys who now own PandoLogic and Broadbean. Alex, you're up.
Hi, Peter and everyone. So in the world of TA and staffing, we need to adapt to impacts of economy, right, and the labor market, and we need to ramp hiring efforts up or down with short notice and lack of resources. So the data we have to guide us during those U-turns is in silos and tends to be limited most of the times to a cost per click or a cost per apply. And that makes it hard to see the bigger picture. So what do I propose? To solve this pain, all we need to do is look at consumer ad tech. Consumer marketing has solved all those problems of source attribution, flexible budgets, and performance years before TA, using programmatic ad platforms and tools. So by sharing performance data throughout the applicant journey, from publishers to ATSs to TA teams, we have the ability to optimize hiring performance. In the same way that consumer ad tech ties advertising back to product sales. So cost per hire reporting is not a utopia. It's possible through programmatic platforms by integrating real human recruiter signals to both applicant quantity and quality. We can make the algorithms smarter and drive recruitment advertising and candidate experiences along the way.
Thanks, Alex. That was quick and very interesting. Our only name duplication, we go to another Alex, Alexander Chukovski of Crypto Careers.
Guten Tag. Salary is a key requirement of a successful job to candidate matching. If the salary offered and what the candidate is looking for don't match, then both sides lose essentially time and money. Unfortunately, employers don't want to share salary. We all know that, and that's not going to change. My suggestion is to use cryptography to solve this issue. We can build a zero-knowledge open source standard where candidate requirements and the salary the company offers are compared without actually revealing the data. In the end, only a statement will come out saying if both sides are a match or not, which is essentially called a zero-knowledge proof. So all sides win, no data is revealed. We have a good job to candidate matching. Thank you.
Sounds interesting, and I want to learn more, but that'll be for our next podcast with you, Alexander. We've got Arno Schäfer of VONQ.
Yes. Why is the search of job boards still so basic? Why are they only offering job title and location only? So I think with AI, basically, we can build job boards completely different. We can build a search engine, which is way better than just, job title and location, with bespoke recommendation based on certain and free text description of the job. For instance, I want a job which requires XML skills with 4 days in Phoenix and also remote for 2 days and at least, 100,000 euros per year, rather than just XML developer in Phoenix.
I want one of those too, by the way. Well, we've got enough of the AI experts, Alex and Alexander. on the call, among others. I don't want to limit it to them, among others. So they're probably working on it. Thank you, Arno. And next we have Chris Russell.
What's up, folks? So I work with a lot of niche job boards out there, and my problem I see is that there are hundreds and thousands of niche job marketplaces out there, powered by different software companies. I'm thinking of places like WebScribble, which powers hundreds of association job boards, for example, right? Those sites are not getting enough exposure in the marketplace by both seekers and employers. My fix for that is creating a job board only job search engine that helps to uncover these niche job boards and communities out there. Even if a site has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs, those jobs need to be exposed out there. Right now, they're not getting enough play, I think. So my idea is to come up with some kind of job board search engine just for the job boards themselves and help, bubble up those jobs into the marketplace and help both seekers find them and also employers find that kind of quality niche talent that's out there. So that's my idea.
Very cool. And yeah, we've tried to count job boards and they're in the tens of thousands for sure, if not more than that. Corey, good. Well, you're in the States, so good morning still.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. And here is a niche job board. Chris, I could not agree with you more. So thank you for that. What we're finding, and as I said, our clients are state and local government people in the United States, is as old as time, and perhaps this is also appropriate for private sector job boards. Job announcements are too long, they're too exhaustive, they're too detailed for recruitment marketing. And that discourages job seekers who have limited time and patience for applying. My solution is really quite easy. It's to have an abridged job announcement when you are advertising on job boards and other places to give them just enough information so that they want to click apply and read the whole job description to learn more. It's really quite simple.
Makes sense. And you're singing Cat Kimmons' song. Don't make it long, just get it out there. Thank you, Corey. George, LaRocque, WorkTech, Impact WorkTech.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Stephen. So I took a slightly different approach. I zeroed in on the world of job ads, recruitment marketing as a part of talent acquisition. And the reason I did that is I've been going really deep lately with research and looking at what the challenges are. And the good news is the challenges there aren't much different than they are for everyone else. And I would categorize them as emerging and changing technology and business models. So think about the threat of Google's proposed changes to job ads and SEO, the broad use of existing and yet to emerge generative AI search by candidates to find the best jobs, and then a combination of properties and media that are emerging, like Twitter hiring came out. That I don't want to get distracted by Twitter, but other properties that don't exist yet, and then business models that change. Think about Indeed's changes to pricing and business models, and the solutions all seem to be based on our research focused on job board marketplaces improving their content and branding strategies to be more available to new approaches like Google's pending changes and the use of new emerging generative search by candidates, increased specialization and delivery of more value-added services and capabilities for both employer, customers, and candidates. Examples for employers might be providing more targeted outreach and talent access in a particular demo, skill set, or industry. For talent, it could be more value-added services regarding myriad topics. And my last addition would be these tectonic shifts in tech, like generative AI and the unexpected changes to business models that impact revenue and traffic require job board marketplaces and employers to offer more value and represent that in their brands and their experience for customers and candidates. That's all I got for you.
Thanks. No, appreciate it. Jennifer Johansson.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. So very similar to what Arno mentioned as well. I think the biggest problem that we see and hear from job seekers is about the amount of irrelevant job ads and noise that are on job boards and job platforms today. which really means the candidates just sit there and click and apply to everything that they see, which dilutes conversion rates for employers and waste a lot of time for recruiters. I know it's been mentioned by a few of us. I think the solution really for that is obviously create a more relevant experience for candidates to increase conversion for recruiters. And what TA platforms really need to do is to get that understanding of job seekers, look at their behavior, and really collect data. I think with that data and with their access with regard to AI these days, it's relatively easy to map things together and create a more relevant journey for candidates, which is really needed.
Well, I can certainly speak from semi-personal experience helping a colleague of mine trying to find a job. The job candidate experience is still appallingly bad. It's just atrocious. But we will move on. We've got next Joe Stubblebine is he still wearing his glasses? Yeah, he is. There we go.
Hey, thank you, Peter and Stephen, for having me. I really appreciate it. So I guess one of the concerns we're thinking about today at Lensa is there's really a lack of transparency and communication between advertisers and publishers in the job board space, which really causes an inefficiency of recruitment advertising spend, and it prohibits the publisher from aligning with advertisers to really maximize the ROI that advertisers receive for their recruitment advertising dollars. Many companies still purchase on a CPC basis, but they typically measure their spending on conversions, and they're typically defined based on either an application for a customer job, a new job board sign up, or maybe a purchase conversion for job boards who offer paid services to job seekers. And at least 60% of the advertisers we see are really unable to provide real conversion data at the job level to their publishers to allow those publishers to align with their advertisers. And even a lack of clarity around goals. What is a good cost per application rate? Is it $10, $5, $20? Advertisers and ATSs in our industry really need to consider, and I think Alex touched on this as well, adopting a method to provide the goal at the job level and real-time conversions to publishers so that publishers can adjust traffic channels, a common way to be able to communicate together. And I think there's some tools out there, certainly like Appcast, that do that, but there's still a strong need in our space to be able to have a much closer conversation between the advertiser and the publisher.
Yeah, there's another problem that needs to be addressed. Thank you, Joe. At RecBuzz, I always give away the longest drive award to the person from Australia or the person from South Africa or the person from Asia who had the longest drive to get there. Joelle is sitting at home, so she doesn't, or sitting in the office, so she doesn't get the longest drive award, but how about the farthest away? Joelle is in Malaysia, and she's going to tell us about what she sees.
So thanks, Peter and Stephen, for having me. And hello from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So I'm representing recruitment in the blue collar as well as non-executive space. And the problem we see now really lies in the current definition of gig economy and what constitutes as gig work. I think right now it's very much reserved to two main definitions, one being the digital skilled talents like your designers, developers, engineers, and the other really being in your e-hailing and p-hailing, where you're delivering food, you're delivering for e-commerce and also ferrying passengers around like Grab and Uber. And the outcome of that is that while we see a lot of our employers struggling to hire workers for the manual services as well as the semi-skilled roles, on the other hand, we see a rising and accelerating growth in the gig economy, where a lot of low-wage job seekers are looking for flexibility in their jobs more than ever, especially post-pandemic due to the caregiving needs and change in priorities. So the solution that we are proposing is actually what we are doing right now here in FastCo, Malaysia, where we are providing a freelancer platform for the blue-collar job seekers, the low-wage job seekers looking for jobs in retail, F&B, logistics, manufacturing, and so on. And we are giving our employers not only a broader definition of what gig work can constitute, from store associate to cashiers to even shift supervisors and promoters, event crew, and at the same time delivering them an amazing experience so that they are able to look at team augmentation and building their blended workforce in a way that also promotes the future of work, one that constitutes both full-timers, part-timers, as well as freelancers. Thank you.
Thanks. No, appreciate it. And the gig economy and gig workers, knew somebody would have to hit the bottle. Good for you, Arno. The gig economy and gig workers, it's important. From Malaysia, we're going to Jonathan Kestenbaum of AMS. Jonathan.
Thanks for having me. I'm going to be provocative today. So with the recent legal developments around affirmative action, organizations continue to grapple with creating a diverse workforce while adhering to both state and existing federal civil rights laws. A lot of capital has been invested in solutions that try to address the problem, such as tools that infer diversity characteristics, mask employment gaps, anonymize names, and optimize job ad copy. Regrettably, many of these solutions fail in terms of compliance and/or effectiveness. The answer lies in fostering both transparency and accountability. Organizations should develop what I call social accountability dashboards, providing a clear view into how hiring managers perform in workforce diversification. By doing so, we can generate both socially accountable outcomes and steer us towards a more inclusive and compliant workforce.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it. 10 down, 6 to go. Leah Mancini, are you in Chicago these days?
I am in Chicago these days. Hello, everyone.
There you go.
Great, thank you. Well, I think that, interestingly enough, I believe that media and advertisers both have heard the call of the job seeker and the inefficiencies in that candidate experience. And so we've seen the emergence of quick applies, hosted applies. These are not new to our industry. However, we see them being utilized more and more. As we know, the integrity of the data that we leverage in decision-making is key. And sometimes recruitment marketing data can be challenging to collect. Quick applies, hosted applies, they have a very valid use case in our industry. However, they bring with them a new data point that needs to be contemplated correctly. A lead is not a completed application. When discussing ROI and the efficacy of a site, a clear and distinct definition of a lead as opposed to an application and an understanding of their corresponding conversion rates to quality application and to hires is a gap that we're actively looking to fill. Perhaps the solution is simply to introduce a uniform KPI to distinguish between the two so that we can ensure that both media and advertisers are speaking the same language.
Good idea, but you'll never get advertisers and employers and recruiters and so forth speaking the same language. That's a lost cause, Leah.
But we got to try, Peter. We got to try.
Hey, got to try. That's what keeps Schäfer in business. Mark Parent of Job Hub Central and Ment Digital. Fire away.
Thanks, Peter. I'm going to talk about something that as a job seeker is incredibly frustrating. And that is when you get to a posting, you click through, and it ultimately turns out that that job has expired. There's still way too many expired postings that are living for days, weeks, months across all of our industry, unfortunately. Honestly, my solution is relatively simple, which is as a industry, we need to be crawling our apply URLs and making sure that they're not 404ing. It's a simple solution, and it's the least we can do as we help job seekers find the right jobs and ensure that they're not putting their efforts towards something that is already gone, and so ultimately helping them get to employment faster.
Oh, just take all the fun out of the job search, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah, thanks. Mikhil, how are you at SonicJobs? Fire away.
Good. Thanks for having me, Peter and Stephen. Yeah, a lot of really great ideas, so I'm not going to repeat them. We think as kind of a slightly different way to look at it, we think about people a lot, and we think about why a job seeker doesn't apply for a job. We've talked a lot about kind of technical solutions, but why a job seeker doesn't apply for a job is not related always to search and apply flows. It's also related to motivation, to belief, to actually believing you can improve your life, you can actually get that job. And we think about that a lot in terms of the next stage of evolution for how users interact with a job platform. My solution to that is something that actually I don't have an exact solution, but I think the answer lies somewhere between personalization and motivation, and actually explaining the why, not just the what or the where, which is what we've done for the last 30 years.
You know, yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you, Mikhil. Nicholas Cosgrove of Upwork.
Hey, thanks, Peter. I chose a problem that I think is going to be accelerated by generative AI, and that problem's fraud. Fraud fits into two buckets: candidate fraud and experience fraud. We don't talk much about candidate fraud, but bot farms sell fraudulent data that's either falsified or created to job boards. Job boards pass that data on to their employers, and everybody is at risk of claims. And then in bucket two, experience fraud is kind of new. Candidates in high volume industries might falsify their experience. Crosscheck recently said that this is on the rise, and I think generative AI is going to keep that rising. So ultimately, job boards are risking their employer trust in both of these fraudulent cases. So the solution could be blockchain technology. Now, Sam Altman has announced a plan to verify identity via World AI, but we could also verify experience using blockchain technology, and job boards can integrate it, verify both identity and experience, and increase trust and mitigate risk with their clients. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Experience fraud, job seeker fraud, all of those fraud issues. And there is fraud on the other side too, of course, fake employers and so forth. We have another job board doctor on the call, Jeff Dickey-Chasins, Chris being the first one, but Jeff is the one and only job board doctor. Fire away, Jeff. And then we've got Tom Chevalier. I will not say we saved the best for last because I'd get in trouble.
Okay, great. So I'm going to focus on a problem that's been present in the industry since I started back in the late 90s. It's called most popularly the black hole, the application black hole. When a job seeker goes and they apply and they don't hear anything back from the employer. It's incredibly common. It's been at the top of every list of every survey that I've conducted with job seekers, and I see it everywhere. It's idiotic that it's a problem. My solution is incredibly low tech. It's basically requiring every employer to send back an auto response saying, this is what's going to happen next. We got your application. The next step is this. The next step is this. The next step is that. Good employers already do that. The other 90% don't. How are you going to enforce this? The same way that salaries started showing up on job ads in the US and the EU. You pass a law, you make people do it. The heavy hand of government in this case could actually help out the job seeker in a significant way.
Thank you, because I know all too well about that black hole. Tom Chevalier, we didn't save the best for last, but we saved you because you're the last alphabetically by first name. So go ahead, and then we're going to wrap up real quickly because we've run long.
Usually they go by last name and I get to go first. Nicholas and I woke up on the same side of the coin today. I'm thinking a bit about fraud, application fraud, sign-up fraud, and it's going to get worse, and it's starting to get worse through generative AI, where it becomes easier to sort of manipulate information. I got an idea for how to potentially solve it that the industry could collaborate on, and it's kind of the idea of a clearinghouse. If we can share the credentials that are being used, the email addresses and the phone numbers that are being used in this fraudulent activity, it would be easier for us to sort of solve the problem as a collective versus one by one whacking a mole. And so that is the proposal. Let's all get together and sort of get the known entities out there. And I think we can make headway on this while blockchain comes along.
That is a hell of an idea. I once found out that cars.com shared all their fraudulent information with Auto Trader and vice versa. And I said, why do you guys do that? They said, because if we whack them all over here, then he just moves over there. So we have to share the information. That's an idea. That's a very interesting idea. Well, we have not solved all of the problems. I didn't think we would. Stephen, you want to take 30 seconds or 10 seconds for a last word?
Yeah, I'd really like to thank all of our guests today and my co-host Peter. This was really awesome. I think it shows the listeners that there are a lot of people in this industry who really care about the candidate, who care about the experience, who are working hard at innovating to make all of our ships rise higher. If you've liked this episode, hit the like button. If you want to get more content like this from the podcast, you can go to www.collegerecruiter.com/inside-job/boards, or email us if you've got comments, questions, suggestions, whatever. You can reach Peter and me by emailing podcast@collegerecruiter.com. It has been awesome. To all of our guests, thank you so much.
Thank you all.